Happy holidays, friends. I am so excited to share this video with you today. I am going to share with you 16 holiday cookies that you make with a box of cake mix. I have so much fun making cake mix cookies. They always turn out so good and they're unbelievably easy. You will be so impressed on how quick and easy these are, and they're crowd pleasers everywhere I take them. So I have 16 recipes I'm going to share with you. There's all start with a box of cake mix. I have a couple actually that are going to start with a box of brownie mix, but they're all so good. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, give this video a little thumbs up if you're enjoying it. And let's get going with these 16 Christmas cookies made with a box of cake mix. This cookie is going to start with a box of brownie mix, and these are going to be some brownie reindeers. These are a huge hit with the kids. If you have kids or grandkids, these are so easy to make with them and so fun to do over the holidays. Very simple. I have my brownie mix, 2 eggs, half a cup of oil, mix it around. Really simple ingredients. They're so easy and they turn out absolutely amazing. So I'm just mixing this brownie batter. It's nice and firm and it's really good. So now I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to roll each little brownie into a ball. I use a cookie scoop so that each one is the same size. That works best for me. But once these are all scooped out, I'm going to bake these in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Now they're all done, and I have these little pretzel pieces that I'm going to use as some ears for these little reindeers. So I'm going to add the ears onto all of these, and then once I have the ears on, I will add on a little nose and some eyes as well. So you can decorate however you'd like these. Really fun. Like I said, doing these with the kids is really great. My kids love these little red hot candies, but you can use a red M&M if you want also as the nose. And then I have these little pearl candies that I'm using as the eyes, but you can use little eye candies as well, whichever you want to use. And these are so fun, so festive, and so easy. I'm going to put timestamps in the description box for all of these recipes because there's so many. So if you want to jump to a certain one, head over to the description box and the timestamps will be right in there. This cookie is going to start with a vanilla cake mix, but it's going to be a peppermint candy cane cookie, and it's really festive. I love it. So I have my 2 eggs. I have my half a cup of vegetable oil. You could also use half a cup of melted butter or half a cup of applesauce. I have half a cup of crushed peppermints and a teaspoon of peppermint extract. So really easy. Mix these together. It makes a really great batter. And these cookies are a really big hit around the holidays. I just love anything with candy canes and peppermint. It's just a huge hit around our house. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. Gonna roll these into my little balls, and then they will be ready to go. If you would like, you can kind of dust the top of these with some sprinkles or some extra peppermint pieces if you wanted to. I'm going to add some red sprinkles to make these a little bit more festive. And I'm going to bake these in the oven for about 10 minutes. Really quick, really easy, and so good. This next cookie is going to start with vanilla cake mix, and this is going to be a green pistachio cookie. I have this pistachio pudding. Not only does this make this cookie green, but it makes it so moist. Cake mix cookies are really moist. I absolutely love the texture, and they're just so easy. So my 2 eggs, my half a cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to give this a good mix, and it's going to make a great batter and just so festive with this green color. I love it. You can add some white chocolate chips in this if you wanted to. I'm just doing regular pistachio for this one. They're really tasty. The pistachio pudding gives it an awesome flavor. And I just love anything that's festive, that's green, red, anything Christmas colors. So these turn out so good and really easy, of course. So I'm using a vanilla cake mix again. I use a lot of vanilla cake mix. And this is going to be just a regular M&M and chocolate chip cookie. So I have my 2 eggs. I have my half of a cup of vegetable oil. These all basically start out the same, most of them. So I'm gonna give this base of the cookie a mix. You can also use a yellow cake mix for this one if you'd wanted. So once this is all mixed all the way together, and it is really easy to mix. You can just mix it with your spoon. You don't have to get out your mixer if you don't want to. It mixes really easily. But I have these mini M&Ms, and I just love how festive they are. And mini M&Ms are so just fun. And I have mini chocolate chips also. So I'm using a 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips to make this a little bit more chocolatey and more of a chocolate chip cookie. So mix this all together and these will be ready to go. So I use my cookie scoop for all of these cookies. It just makes everything so much easier for me. I also use a baking mat for all of my cookies. It makes cleanup very, very easy. All of these cookies make about 2 dozen, and you can freeze them. They do freeze very well, although they're really delicious, so you might not have any left over that you'll be able to freeze. But they do make about 2 dozen. So I'm going to roll these up. I'm going to bake these in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. And there they are, ready to go, really easy. So this next cake mix cookie is going to be a gingerbread cookie. I have my yellow cake mix. I have 1 egg. I have a tub of Cool Whip. So this makes awesome, awesome cookies, this base. So I'm using my tub of Cool Mix. Now I have some molasses. I'm using a 1/4 cup of molasses. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of cinnamon as well. And you can also add in some crushed ginger if you would like. We don't prefer crushed ginger in our house, so I have left it out. But if you want to make these extra gingery, go ahead and add some crushed ginger to this mix. So mix this all together. It mixes really great. So I'm just going to scoop this onto my baking mat, and I just put this directly onto my baking mat, and they will make some really great circle cookies. I'm going to dust these on the top with some cinnamon and sugar, and just going to make these a little bit more gingerbread-like. So really easy. Bake them for 10 minutes at 350, and they're really, really so good and so soft in the center. I'm going to be making a spice cake mix, but this is going to be a Snickerdoodle cookie, a Snickerdoodle blondie. So I have 2 eggs to add in, just like the base of my other cookies, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, the same, and I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of sugar for this one, and I'm going to add in a teaspoon of cinnamon as well. So this is going to mix together. This is going to be my Snickerdoodle cookie. And I had a follower recommend this Snickerdoodle cookie to me to use the spice cake mix. You can also use a vanilla cake mix, which I have done in the past. But this one was recommended, and it is really, really good. So I have my cinnamon sugar mixture. I have my cookie that I'm going to roll into a ball. I'm going to roll into the cinnamon sugar, and then it'll be ready to go. So I'm just going to do this for all of the cookies, and I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. So very simple and really delicious. So these are a huge hit, and I just love Snickerdoodles. They're one of my favorites. So now these have cooled for a few minutes, but I have these Snickerdoodle cookie kisses, and these are going to be my little kisses to make them a blossom. So I'm adding that on top. So I did let the cookies cool for a couple minutes, but not too much, because you want to be able to push that Hershey kiss into the cookie. So these are really, really great. So easy and a huge, huge hit, especially around the holidays. So if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you put a thumbs up on it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. I have a lot of holiday videos coming out for you. This weekend on Sunday, I will have holiday appetizers. So make sure you stay tuned for that holiday appetizer video. You're gonna love it. And I have 10 recipes to go, and I'm going to share these cake mix cookies with you that you're really going to love. They are ones that I made last year, so you might recognize some of these cake mix cookies, but they are all so good and so easy. So let me show you last year's 10 cake mix cookies that I made. These first cookies are going to be some Grinch cookies made with yellow cake mix. I just love doctoring up these cake mixes and making them super festive. So I have my box of yellow cake mix. I am using 2 eggs. I have some vegetable oil. I'm going to use 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I have some vanilla extract. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I'm going to give this a stir. And it stirs really easily and makes a nice, thick batter. So once this is all combined, I'm going to add in my green food coloring to make this batter nice and green, to make it Grinch-like. So I'm going to do green cookies, and then after they are cooked, I'm going to top these with a red M&M. You can use any kind of red candy that you like. A circle shape or a heart shape would be great. I have my baking mat lined cookie sheet, and I have a bowl of powdered sugar. So I use my cookie scoop to scoop out my cookie dough so that all of the cookies can be the same size. It makes it so much easier for me. And I also have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. So I'm going to roll all of these, and I'm going to roll them into the powdered sugar, and then I will cook them. And then, like I said, once they are all cooked, I'm going to add a red candy on top, and these are just like Grinch-themed Christmas cookies. So I baked them in the oven for about 11 minutes. I'm going to now add on this little candy, and these are so festive and so cute and a huge hit. I'm going to do some red velvet cookies this time. So I have cream cheese, I have my red velvet cake mix, I'm going to use 2 eggs, I have my vegetable oil as well, and then once I have all of this mixed together, I'm going to use my mixer for this one because of the cream cheese. Once I have this all mixed together, I'm going to add in some red sprinkles just to make this glisten a little bit, and these sprinkles really are so festive and just give it a little bit of shine. So I'm going to stir these sprinkles in, and I'm going to add on top of these this candy cane Hershey Kiss candy, which is just so cute. You can only get these during Christmas. They're a candy cane kind of flavor, and they are striped and just perfect for these cookies. So I'm going to roll these together. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to cook these for the same about 11 minutes, and then they will be ready to add the little chocolate onto. I let these cool for about 3 to 4 minutes out of the oven, and then I'm going to stick this candy right on top, and they are so cute and just so festive for the holiday season. So these cookies are going to be with this Dolly Parton yellow cake mix. I keep seeing it and just had to use it, and it's just as good as the regular, so I definitely like it. 2 eggs for this, and then I'm going to use some unsweetened applesauce, half of a cup. So I'm substituting the oil or butter for applesauce, and this was actually my first time substituting with applesauce, and I have to say I'm going to be doing this a lot more often. The cookies turned out really, really good. They were a little bit softer than with the oil or butter, but turned out really great. And so I'm going to add in some Christmas sprinkles, whichever festive sprinkles you have or you'd like to use, and mixing these in together. So you can chill this dough if you'd like for about 30 minutes before adding it to your cookie sheet. I do sometimes, but it's optional. So I'm going to scoop these cookies onto my baking mat with my cookie scoop. And each one of these batches makes about 2 dozen cookies, depending on the size that you use, but usually about 2 cookie sheets worth, so about 2 dozen cookies. So I'm going to bake these at 350 for 11 minutes. I'm going to add on some more sprinkles to these to make them more festive. And these are just really great and so, so easy. My kids love these ones, and they had no idea that I made them with applesauce. So just a huge hit. So I'm going to be doing some Devil's Food cake cookies, and these are going to be chocolate crinkle cookies. So a box of Devil's Food cake mix, which is so good. I have my vegetable oil, 1/3 of a cup. I have my 2 eggs. So most of these recipes are basically start the same with the cake mix, the eggs, and the oil. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract to this one, and I'm going to give it a mix. They are all really easy to mix, of course. You don't even need to get out your mixer or your hand mixer or your stand mixer. You can just do this with a spoon, which I think is convenient and makes it less to clean up. So I'm going to give this a nice stir. It's nice and thick, which I just love. I have my baking mat lined cookie sheet, of course. I have my dough here, and I have powdered sugar, just like with the Grinch cookies. So I'm going to roll these into balls, and then I will roll with the powdered sugar as well. And crinkle cookies are definitely one of my favorite. I absolutely love crinkle cookies. So any kind of version of them, I am a huge fan of. But these chocolate ones, they are really delicious. They are a huge hit as well. So I'm going to bake these at 350 for about 11 minutes. And they are so good. They're nice and soft on the inside, and the powdered sugar on the outside is so wonderful. So I'm going to make some oatmeal cookies for these. So I have my yellow cake mix as my base, and I'm going to be adding in some old-fashioned oats to this. So I have 2 cups of old-fashioned oats. I have a 1/4 cup of sugar that I'm adding in. I have a cup of vegetable oil, and I'm going to add in my eggs as well. So I have 2 eggs for this, and I beat the eggs together before I added this into the mix. I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract as well. I'm going to add in some cinnamon. You can add in as much or as little cinnamon as you'd like, so according to your taste. I'm going to give this a nice stir, and like the same, they're all nice and thick, good cookie batter. So I'm going to add these to my cookie sheet, rolling them into balls. Again, I like to roll all of these into balls, and then they flatten out pretty nicely. So they just become a really great, nice, round, fluffy shape. So these cookies with the cake mix, they're all nice and soft on the inside. So soft, which I absolutely love this kind of cookie. So these are really good. You can add in some chocolate chips or some raisins as well if you'd like. So I'm going to be doing a Snickerdoodle cookie for this. So I have my yellow cake mix. I have my 2 eggs, and I'm going to use the same base as always. I have my vegetable oil, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to whisk these eggs together and all of the ingredients. So there it is, that nice, wonderful batter. And like I mentioned with the other cookies, you can chill this for about 30 minutes if you would like, but it is optional. So I'm going to make some sugar cinnamon to roll into this cookie dough. After they're in their balls, I will roll it into this sugar cinnamon mixture, and I really love Snickerdoodle cookies. They are so good. They used to be my top favorite. Now I think chocolate crinkles are my top favorite, but I used to be a really, really big Snickerdoodle fan, and they were always my cookie of choice. And these ones, they're so good, just like the others. Huge crowd pleasers. And I just love taking these cake mix cookies to functions. Everybody always raves about them. So it is just a great thing to take to the holidays for any kind of party, or if you're entertaining at your house. These are a really great, easy dessert to have for your guests. So cook the same way, 11 minutes at 350 degrees. I'm going to make some Butterfinger cookies, and these little Butterfinger pieces are really, really good with this cookie. So I have my yellow cake mix, of course, which is my go-to. It's just a great base to doctor up. I have 2 eggs, of course. I have my vegetable oil as well, and I'm going to give this a mix. So super simple base, and you can add really any kind of chopped up candy that you'd like. I've done these with Rolos and Snickers and just other kinds of candy, just all chopped up with your knife or like a nut chopper. But so this Butterfinger pieces, they come already nice and crumbled up, so it makes it even easier. I'm going to add in 1 cup of these crumbles, and these cookies are really, really great. So I love these. These are definitely, all of these recipes are on repeat, and I just love making them because everybody loves them, and it's so fun to share. And like I mentioned, each one of these recipes makes about 2 dozen, so about 24 cookies. And it makes a pretty big batch, so definitely perfect to serve to a crowd or to take to a function and share with others. You definitely don't want to eat all 24. That would be a major sugar rush, but they are really addicting. So they're just really fun to take to share with other people. These ones are so good. So I'm going to be doing some peanut butter cookies, and it's just another really simple yellow cake mix, little hack to doctor these up. So I have my yellow cake mix, I have my 2 eggs, I have my peanut butter, and my vegetable oil. So I'm doing half of a cup of vegetable oil, and then I have 1 cup of peanut butter. So I will add all this together and give it a good mix. I love anything with peanut butter. I'm a huge peanut butter fan, so we always have lots of peanut butter in our pantry for different kinds of recipes. But this just mixes really well, and it's just the perfect consistency for the dough. So once this is all mixed, I will cook these onto my cookie sheet. So I love to line my baking mat with line my cookie sheet with my baking mat. It just makes cleanup really, really easy. It cooks the cookies really great, which I just love. And so I use this baking mat for absolutely everything. So now I'm going to kind of smash down these peanut butter cookies so that they have the little cross marks like regular peanut butter cookies do. Just super easy, just with your fork. You can just kind of smash them down in both little directions. And these are so good. So I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. Cook these for about 11 minutes as well. And I would check them at 10 minutes and just see how they're doing. But about 10 to 12 minutes depending on your oven. And these are just amazing and so easy. Look how perfect they turn out. So I'm going to do some blossom cookies with some Hershey Kisses on top. These are just an absolute staple. They're always a huge hit. And they're just so quick and easy with this cake mix hack. So I have my 1 box of yellow cake mix, my 2 eggs, I have my vegetable oil, my peanut butter, and then I have my chocolate Hershey Kisses. And like before, I used the candy cane Hershey Kisses, which you can really only get those, I believe, during the holidays. So I always try and get them each year for at least one little treat or dessert. But these are the regular Hershey Kisses that you can find all year long. So you can make these whenever you want. They are always so delicious. So just giving it a nice big stir. I will bake these in the oven like all of the others. I mean, they're all super simple and they all require about the same cooking time. I always use my cookie scoop like I mentioned, and so they're always about the same size, which I love, and they're nice and they look the same, rolled in the balls, and they flatten out the same. So I like them all to be the same and cook the same. It just makes things way easier. So now that they're done, I let them cool for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now I'm going to add on this little chocolate Hershey Kiss that I unwrapped. Each one I'm going to add on top. So this is going to make about 2 dozen cookies, so about 2 batches on my baking mat. These are really so good. They're very cake-like because of the mix. So I'm going to be doing, I have some spice cake mix, which I love spice mix, especially the fall, the winter time. It is just so good. I have my eggs, and then I'm going to add in pumpkin. So this is really simple. I have my cake mix, 1 egg, and then 1 can of pumpkin. And you just mix this all together. Anything with pumpkin is so good. The combination of spice cake and pumpkin is just such a great combination. So this just batter turns out great. I'm going to add in I have some mini chocolate chips. You can use regular chocolate chips if you'd like, or you can leave the chocolate chips out altogether as well if you would like. But I'm going to give this a good stir, and then I will put these on my baking mat, have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I will bake these at 11 minutes. So I hope that you enjoyed these cake mix hack recipes. They're all perfect for the holidays, for Christmas, to share with your friends and family. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, friends. I really hope you enjoyed these 16 cake mix hacks that I turned into Christmas cookies. They're all so good, huge crowd pleasers. You're gonna love all of them. So these do freeze well. So if you wanna make a bunch of different ones and you obviously don't wanna eat them all in one sitting, you can freeze them. They do freeze great, but you can also take them to all kinds of gatherings around the holiday season. So I hope that you try these out and I hope you love them as much as we do. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're new, and make sure you check back this weekend for my holiday appetizer video. You're gonna love that video as well. So make sure you put a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time.